Can we start now? Great. Welcome, everyone. I'll call this meeting to order. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? If there are none. Review of items not listed on the agenda.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, there are 2 items not listed on the agenda, 2 reports from Debbie LaRue, Clerk/Director of Legislative Services.
Thank you. Announcements. We'll start over here, I think, with Gord this week. Did we start? Well, there was no one there last week, so we'll start there this week. Well, I think Pam was away.
I'm at the end of the line here, so it's, just one event I wanted to talk about. I'm sure we all heard today that the tragic news in North York, where the van took out several pedestrians. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the families. I'm sure hopefully that there may not be more casualties, but there were 16 people also injured. Actually, I was down there not so long ago, and I wasn't there obviously when that event took place, but it makes you think, if you had been in a place moments before or thereof, and it's very tragic. So hopefully the families can get through that whole thing. So our thoughts and prayers go out to them.
Thanks, Gord. Councillor Beach, welcome back.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Nothing other than Huck Finn, and I'm sure that was going to be talked about on the other side of the council here, but Huck Finn coming up, and I was really unhappy to have missed our festivities here last Thursday and Friday for the Spring Fest, but I hear it went very well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Councillor Barton? Do you want me to go to you? Whatever you like. Saving the best for last, Freddie. Go ahead, Councillor. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Barton.
Sorry, Fred. I'm just doing what the bosses tell me to.
Just moving it around, boys.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, everyone. So I get to talk about Springtide, which is
good.
Amazing. So Springtide just brought our town to life. There was so much energy, music in every restaurant, every place you went was packed. The brewery was overfilled. A lot of people were waiting to get into the urban pantry. The whole place was packed, and I'm just going to thank the people that put that on. So Tanya Joy, Patty, Jeff, Tamara, Vivian, Corinne, Joanne Byers, and then Joanne Richter, and they did an incredible job. And then we had an Earth Day cleanup. They tried to go to the Countryside Preserve, but there was so much snow that they couldn't find the garbage. So we got double the volunteers at my location, which was at the Trestle Bridge. And we went back and got old metal roofing that had been bulldozed, I think, into that railway corridor. They pulled out garbage. They were in the river. They got tons of garbage. Great program, and it was a really great. Okay, that's it. Oh, one more, sorry. The Eudora Leakstown Lions Club have their Canoe River Run on May the 5th. And this one's in memory of your friend, Chris Brunet.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Councillor Ballinger, 717. Got it.
Good evening, everyone. And I'll echo your sentiments about the Spring Fest. And also the great picture of the 22 people up all the garbage along the Trestle Bridge and that. The wooden fish is floating in the pond. Huck Finn is arriving. The signs are posted out there now. You cannot fish until Saturday at 10 o'clock. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock we will be stocking the pond and tagging 30 fish. Everything is free on Saturday for all the youth 15 years of age and under. That includes the use of fishing poles, the bait, the ministries cleaning the fish. Their lunch is all provided, and they'll all be given a loop bag with I don't know how many things will be in it. Last year we had 1,200 participants. So, and the big fella, what can I say? We've got the weather. So we're looking forward to Huck Finn Day on Saturday. Over to you, Fred.
Thank you, Jack. Freddie?
You're okay if I go now?
Why don't you do your best?
A couple of things. Already mentioned, which is great. Just wanted to mention we have a Chamber of Commerce breakfast Thursday morning that Deputy Mayor and Ingrid will be speaking at.
Tomorrow
Tuesday,
morning.
that's tomorrow?
Yeah.
Sorry, 'cause I'm on the radio, so I forgot that one. We have an election night, election information session, which might be interest to some of the people in the crowd. Thursday night at the Senior Center. Another... Here?
Here.
I'm 0 for 2, eh?
Are you sure you want to speak?
Well, apparently I should have checked my notes. Well, let me get this one right.
You
The
have it?
hospital attorney has been moved.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
You're right.
I got clarification,
Can
so
you
we're
tell
good
us
with
when?
that.
Can you tell us when?
That will be Tuesday, May 22nd, which is the Tuesday after the long weekend.
Fantastic.
I'll double check with Deb, but I think that's the date. And as well, we have, on the 28th, we do have the Scouts e-waste collection at Canadian Tire from 9 to 3. So thank you very much.
Great, thank you. A couple more things. Earlier this week, we had the pleasure of joining our fire department. Ingrid was with us. Regional Chair Gary O'Connor was with us, and we were there down in Don Mills to honor Andrew Allison, who won the Heroes Award, one of the Heroes Awards from the province. Sort of, it's a GTA award with all of the York, Durham, and Toronto Police Services and Emergency Services there. And so, our real congratulations to Andrew Allison. He's been a real asset to our fire department, and he was very deserving of the award. On a fire note, we also had the Firefighters Appreciation Night on Saturday night. It was well attended. Great night, a few awards handed out. Most of us were there, I think, and it was a great night. So well run, well put together. Jason Greger was the MC, did a wonderful job. Saturday we also did, in the midst of springtide, we also did the opening of the youth center over at the Senior Center, which was a great success. And if you get an opportunity, pop over there and have a look at it. It's a really great location, and we're really looking forward to some great things in the future with those two groups put together. So, and Linda's here, president of the Senior Center, who was very instrumental in making this happen. And I don't mean to make you a target out of that. Anyway, thank you, Linda. And that's it. Okay, great. If there's nothing else, we'll move on to delegations. And our first delegation... Yeah, go ahead.
As well. Linda's a director of the Uxbridge Youth Center as well. So she's on both, so I just want to make sure that
You're
that's
right.
acknowledged as
Thank
well.
you. Thank you. Delegations, Mr. Bruce Gerard. This is regarding the Age-Friendly Advisory Committee. Welcome, Bruce. Hit the mic there, Bruce, please.
I gotta keep moving around. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so I'm here to talk briefly about the Age-Friendly Committee. Unlike the last time I was here 2-3 weeks ago about the long-term care facility, there's no ask. So at the end of it, I won't be looking for anything, so you can relax on this one. I'll draw it out 15 or 20 minutes. There's no hockey game or anything tonight. So it's okay.
We're kind of looking for about 8.
And I've already wasted 2. So the committee that was formed was actually Deputy Mayor Pat Malloy that pulled it together. This was back in about October, where he was informally pulling a group together, and since then we've formalized everything. So some of the members, I'm the chair of it. David Richardson, who's not here today, has played a key role. David comes from British Columbia and has a lot of experience in this when he was involved in politics out there. So has done most of the work, quite frankly, the formal documentation, some of which was distributed to you last week. So David's played a key role. Jesse Bird is our secretary, and a couple of the people that we do have here, Bob Curvan and Linda Knapp, again, third time she's brought up, are members, and then George Christensen. Ali Kushner has played a key role already. She just parachuted in when Rebecca went on mat leave and has just picked up the ball and run with it, so she's doing a fantastic job. And of course, Pat's a member of it, and Jack as well. So that's our group, and the goal of our committee is to ultimately advise council on age friendliness in Uxbridge. So I'll define that in just a minute, and then look for ways. So ultimately, once we've done our fact gathering, we'll present to council some recommendations. The goal will be then to have a longer term view on what do we need. I'm going to steal one of Pat's ideas from before to be able to say, if an idea is that we need, just purely an example, but if we need a bus dedicated to the transportation of seniors throughout Uxbridge, then that's something that would obviously have to be budgeted for over time and so on. So we'll be making recommendations. So the definition then, excuse me, as an age-friendly community is one which, I won't read the whole set of words to you, just one sec. Excuse me, it's not a seniors committee. It's not established at what more can we do for seniors. It's to allow people to continue to be as active as they want to be in the community of Uxbridge from age 50 to, well, the oldest person in Japan just passed away, they were 117. So to remain actively engaged, it doesn't just necessarily mean physical activities like walking and so on. It can be the arts, anything that they feel they want to be involved in. We want to have the community be receptive to that. Again, to give an idea that it's not just for seniors, I'm not afraid to say I'm 58 and I want to stay in Uxbridge forever. So what do we need to do to allow people to continue to age? Things change as you get older, and that we can continue to be as involved as we want to be. You know, the Age-Friendly Initiative was started by the World Health Organization, and I just put some of the other communities on there who have gone through the process, some of the, I'll just say similar size to Uxbridge, who've gone through and have varying degrees of age-friendliness. Whitby has also done it, and Jack brought us lots of information from the region as well. So this is the kind of thing you can look forward to seeing produced that shows the state that we are now, and then some recommendations of where we want to go. I didn't double click there, did I? So, as I was saying, it's not just about serving people that are over 65 or 70. It gives you a sense of the demographics within Uxbridge. I pulled this from the StatsCan site. If you add that up, we're into the 39, 40, 45% of us that are over 50 years old. So it's great that Pat launched this back in October, recognizing that we're just starting with the aging in the community. We've got a fair number of people, 13% of the community being over 70 now, but there's lots of us chasing them in the not too distant future. So some of the things we've accomplished, I'll just whip through these. I won't go bullet by bullet, but we established the executive committee back in November, established some of our short-term goals. David Richardson pulled together the purpose and mandate, and we presented that and got sign-off on it. I'll show you just a quick clip of a one-year plan that we pulled together. The purpose and mandate was adopted the way we had it written, and then we started to reach out to some of the other communities. One of the members went up, Jesse went up to Halliburton. Bob's had a lot of information coming from Brock Township, and of course Jack was getting information from Whitby and from the region. Most recently what we've been focused on is getting our survey together. So it's going to be a very in-depth survey. We're going to review it. Our next meeting is on Thursday to present it and get sign-off on it, and then that's going to be distributed throughout the community through the website, through at the Senior Center, any medium that we can. I think we're going to bring it to some people. Some people we really want to hear from are those that are not going to be out and around. So we look for opportunities to actually, maybe a couple people go to somebody who doesn't get out very often and sit down with them. We'll go to the seniors' homes that we have in town. We're trying to reach as many as we can to get their thoughts. We're not here to dictate what we think the situation is. We want to hear their view on the age-friendliness of Uxbridge. I know you can't read that. It was distributed to you before. It's just a chart to be able to show when things are happening all the way back from October, November, December of last year. We'll go through, get the survey in. We're going to use some of the help that's available during the summer of students that will be here to compile the data. We figure it'll probably take 6 to 8 weeks to gather it, compile it, and then it'll be the fall in towards the end of the year when we make a presentation back to council. So some of the more immediate next step, we'll be looking to advertise the survey. We finally get a lot of attention when we do make it available to everybody. So we'll start that right away through till June. At the same time, we'll push the survey into the community, start gathering the data through the cafe style where we may have a few people. Linda has offered up to sit down with members that are at the Senior Center. Some people at St. Paul's next door have said, come in, they have lunch and learns, they'll facilitate it. So we're pretty confident we can get a lot of data gathered. Through July and into August, then we'll analyze that report. And I just put TBD, understanding we're into election season coming up in the fall. So the actual date of the presentation, we'll be looking for some suggestions on when that should take place. So that's it. There's no ask here. It's just an information, some things that we've developed over the last 6 months or so. Lots going on in during the summer, and ultimately a presentation will come to you later in the year. Happy to take any questions if I can be of help to anybody.
You were 8 minutes, by the way.
Was it 8
Very
minutes?
good.
I can talk fast if I need
Questions, Council? Council Barton, go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick one, Bruce. Thanks for doing this, by the way. It's a great idea. So, you're gonna do your survey on paper, or are you gonna do it electronically?
Both. So we're gonna distribute paper, copies, and then the township is gonna have it up on the website with the Survey Monkey,
Okay.
and have people to access it that way as well. Knowing that not everybody's got web access, so we're gonna make sure that we can get to people any way that we can.
Okay, fantastic, thanks.
Councillor Bryan.
That's a great question, Councillor Barton. That's what I was getting at too, because a lot of the older people don't have that sort of thing. So I wanted to make sure that we're going to reach out to everybody. But I appreciate this. I think this is certainly good, because as we realize that this community is aging, it's not a younger community anymore. I'm loving you, Jack. I was trying to get around your head to look at Councillor Barton, who's the youngest one here. But I think that this is something that certainly we need to be cognizant of, and certainly we need to move forward. So thank you for that.
Councillor Beach, go ahead.
Thank you, Bruce. That was wonderful. It's lovely to hear how things are moving ahead so well and things are falling into place. This is something that we absolutely need for the community, and it's going to really serve us well in the future. So
Perfect.
thank you.
And we've got a great team of people working together on it, so yeah, thank you.
Councillor Hyatt.
Yeah, my question actually was the one Councillor Barton had. Just to add to that, Bruce, where do you see this fitting in with like the accessibility committee, you know, some of the other committees that we already have up and running?
Yeah, so we've got the list of the other committees, made contact with some of them. I'm gonna reference to, you know, when I was with Dave on the weekend doing that cleanup, the watershed and the trails committee, were coming together, so there's no competition, if I can put it that way. It's just an absolute sharing and how can we support each other. So absolutely connected with the other committees.
Great, thanks again.
Great, no other questions? Bruce, thank you. I know you chair it and you do a wonderful job, and thanks to all the members of the committee. I know it's a lot of work ahead of us, but it's a great,
It's
great
making
committee.
progress. It's fun. It's actually
Made some
moving
great
along pretty
progress.
quickly.
Great progress in a very short time.
Good.
Thank you so much.
And on the 10 minutes and I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We, all right.
I'll be there. I'll text you and let you know.
We owe you a few minutes, Bruce. Okay. Thank you again. Our next delegation is Bev Northeast regarding the Thomas Foster Memorial. Welcome, Bev.
And as you mentioned, I'm here tonight representing the Thomas Foster Memorial, and we are planning to introduce a new program for the Foster to the township that will assist in bringing the rural and urban areas of the township together. I came up with an idea with four different farmers at the registration night in February approached me and asked me what the Foster Memorial was, because we were handing out programs on the Foster. They expressed that they had never been there. They had lived here all their lives. And they said quite often when they get together with other friends on the farms on a Friday night and have a bit of a get-together, that our concerts sounded like it would be the perfect solution to a night to go out with each other. But they were very intrigued with the Foster. As I mentioned earlier, our program is to bring the rural and urban areas of the township together. And this is something we really need to do to encourage residents to shop locally and also to educate some of the residents on how to prepare the foods offered for sale by the farmers. Our program is a Feast from the Fields, which is a program with a chef creating dishes from the feast of vegetables that the farmers take from their fields that are being offered at the Meet the Farmer Night and the local farmers market, all grown locally. We are asking for permission from the organizers to meet the farmers to allow our chef to set up a cooking area, possibly near the kitchen in the arena, and prepare sample dishes for the public to taste, and also to offer recipe cards to the public of each dish the chef prepares so they can buy the vegetables that evening or locally at the farmer's market. This will hopefully encourage more residents to buy locally from the farmers, which will assist in developing a healthy diet of fresh foods. And this will also promote the Foster Memorial at the same time as other heritage buildings that are advertised at the Foster. We hand out programs for Lucy Maud, for the museum, and for others. This will also let the farmers know we are supporting them and promoting their product. And we would like them to consider the heritage buildings in our community as a place to visit and become more acquainted with everything we have to offer for entertainment, interest, and history in the area. So we are asking permission to attend with a chef who will prepare the food for taste testing and hand out recipe cards and set up an area in the arena community for our program called A Feast from the Fields. Thank you for letting me introduce this new program to you, and I'm asking for permission because I know other groups are running Meet the Farmer. So if we could have someone get in touch with us as a foster committee and give us some permission to come out to the Meet the Farmer night to put in our chef.
Thank you. Thank you very much
You're
for your
welcome.
presentation. Council, questions? Councillor Bryan.
Thank you for this, Beth.
Questions?
Great.
Thank
You know what, you wouldn't know this about me, but a million years ago, I went to George Brown College to culinary school when I was done university, for the simple reason that I like to cook and we like to entertain in our houses. So I always get very intrigued by when they say, you know, meet the chef, meet these things. I love this. One of the great pictures I have in my house is a picture of myself and John Higgins,
Oh, nice.
who is one of the best chefs in the country and is now the head instructor at George. So something like this I would certainly love to get behind for that reason. So let us know what we can do, and certainly we would love to help out. I think that's
Well,
fantastic.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other questions? No? Councillor Beach.
Thank you, Bev. This is such a fabulous, fabulous idea because, like, it's all about supporting the farmers and getting people to understand what they're offering and the wonderful meals that can be made. So this is a great idea, and if there's anything that I can do to help, let me know, because this is so good.
Are you still running?
Farmers of Uxbridge?
Yes.
Yes.
So do you have any objection to us bringing in a chef and setting up an area in the
No,
back?
I just need to know how much area. I think it's absolutely
Okay.
perfect.
Okay, because
Perfect.
we have a chef on board that's willing to come out and do this for us. And we just thought, I mean, it's the urban area and a lot of the urban area that's buying the vegetables.
Yeah.
So if they know how to cook quite a few of them, they'll probably purchase more if they could taste some of the dishes that are
I totally
prepared.
agree. This is fabulous.
Thank you.
And, like, there should be room without a problem. I just need to know how much room.
Okay.
I can make it happen.
Okay,
Okay?
I can give you some square footage as soon as I speak to him.
Councillor Hyatt.
I think it's a great idea, Beth. Welcome again. Did you get a chance to go to the Spring Tide Festival over the weekend? Did you get a chance?
On the weekend?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I wasn't here.
Like what they did was they kind of combined stores and restaurants with traveling musicians, if you will, and I know you guys are big on your music program. Is there a way to combine that with what you're talking about? Maybe not
We could
just-
probably bring in a few musicians that would be more than willing to stroll, because we have strolling minstrels as
Right,
well.
Right.
That might be something we could look
It's just
at.
something to think about.
Yeah,
right?
it is. Very good.
E-
Yeah,
Even bring a refreshment type of thing. I don't know how elaborate it has to be, but
yeah.
something to accompany what you're already doing. It might be a great idea. So.
Do you sing, Gord?
I don't.
Oh.
He tries.
Well,
He
I
does
do,
try.
I
He
do, but
does
you probably
try.
don't want to hear it. So
We
that's
could
all
probably bring in, has
Yeah.
council formed a choir or anything?
Well,
Actually, no.
not at this point, anyway. But anyway, it's food for thought. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I like the idea. Thank you very much.
Food for thought,
We'll
no
look
pun
at
intended.
that, yes.
So I guess it's really not a council thing. It's up to whoever's running the
Yes.
night, right? So, and
Yeah.
Pam, you're taking care of that, so there really isn't any ask of us
Okay.
tonight, right?
Yeah.
But a great idea. Good, and thank you very much
And
for coming in
thank you
tonight.
very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Alrighty, we're gonna move on to approval of the minutes of the April 9th, 2018 meeting. Councillor Barton made the motion. Could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Hyatt. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. And under correspondence, are you gonna do the correspondence, Catalina?
Correspondence number 48, Ministry of Agriculture, RE, Premier's Award for the Agri-Food Innovation of Excellence.
Council, what would you like to do with this? This is the Agri-Food Innovation Awards. Councillor Hyatt.
Do we know if DAC has a copy of this? I would assume they
No, but we
would,
should send one to them. I'm sure they have one, but
because I think, because they're Durham-wide, they may have a bigger
Right.
pool of people to draw from, so.
okay. So
We
we'll-
could also advertise it on our town website, too.
Okay, any other, so you're
I'll
making
make
a
a
motion to
motion for-
receive it and to pass it on to
Pass
DAC
it
and
on
our
to DAC
township
and our-
website?
Exactly.
Got that, Catalina? Second to Councillor Barton, all those in favor? Carried, thank you.
Correspondence number 49, Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, RE Excess Soil Management Regulatory Proposal.
Councillor Barton,
I'd give you a motion to receive that and pass it on to the Phil Committee.
okay. Councillor Ballinger, do you have your, you already had your mic on, I didn't know if you were seconding that or not.
I'll second.
Oh, okay, all right.
Sure.
Great, any other questions? All's in favor? Carried, thank you.
Well-
This is, sorry. I keep jumping in on you.
Correspondence number 50, Central Lake Ontario Conservation Authority, RECLOCA's comments on the province's watershed planning guidance, EBR registry.
Disappointing again. Anyway, council?
I'll give you a motion to receive and forward to the Watershed Committee.
Great. Seconder? Councillor Bryan? All's in favor? Carried.
Correspondence 51, Region of Durham, RE Durham Region's response to the province's draft watershed planning guidance document.
Disappointing again. Councillor Ballinger?
Very disappointing. I'll give you a motion to receive it, but I cannot believe that the conservation authorities weren't brought into this. They're the
Great.
ones that have been looking after the watersheds. They have the most knowledge about it, and they've left them right out of it.
Absolutely.
And yeah, on this one in particular, there was 9 things that the region had sent back to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they missed them.
Could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Hyatt? All's in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Correspondence 52, Region of Durham, RE proposed regional development charge bylaw amendments.
Councillor Hyatt?
Through you to staff, Ingrid, are we putting a package together for the DC? A commentary, I guess, to the region?
Staff will put together a report for
Report.
consideration to council. It's a bit lengthy. There's some things that we think are good, there's some things that we may not totally agree with, but we do need to respond by, I think it's May the,
I can't remember the date.
yeah, there's a date in
So
here.
we don't need direction to pursue that, it's already happening.
It's in the works.
Okay.
So you making a motion, Councillor Hyatt?
I'll just receive this and, it's already underway, so we don't need a motion.
Debbie? Whoa.
The treasurer just asked that I pass along to anyone that was interested. The full development charge study is on the regional website, so if anybody wants to have a look at it, we didn't download it because it's many, many pages.
Could we just have a motion to receive this then? Councillor Bryan, second by Councillor Ballinger. All's in favor? Carried.
Correspondence 54, Region of Durham, RE approval of 2018 to 2022 meeting schedule and council governance structure.
Somebody like to receive this? Councillor Hyatt, motion to receive. Seconder, please. Councillor Barton. All's in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Correspondence 55,
Did we skip
Did we miss
53? Or
53? Oh, the Carruthers Creek one you missed, Kathleen.
Was I,
53?
3 minutes? Sorry.
correspondence number 53, Region of Durham, RE background study supporting the proposed region development charge bylaw and Carruthers Creek sanitary sewage area specific development charge bylaw.
Receive that.
Motion received by
Sure.
Councillor Hyatt, seconded by Councillor Beach. All's in favor? Carried. Thank you. 55.
Correspondence 55, Region of Durham, to the Honorable Kathleen Wynne, Premier RE Information Report 2018 Info 41, Provincial Nuclear Energy Response Plan.
Council? Councillor Hyatt?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to support. I think it's very proactive what they're asking for in a lot of this stuff, so the more prepared we can be, the better, on the odd chance that it would ever happen, but
Seconded by Councillor Ballinger. All's in favor? Carried.
56, Region of Durham, RE Golden Horseshoe Food and Farming Alliance update.
Councillor Ballinger, you're going to speak to this?
Yeah, I'll give you a motion to receive, but I'll just bring it to your attention. I am the Durham rep for the Food and Farming Alliance that takes me down to Niagara region, over to Waterloo, it's Peel, it's York region. A lot of good things are happening. For example, local food. Local food now, on a trial run, we put into all the different senior places that the region have. And I can tell you that last year, buying local food, and I have it right here, I just got it, $409,000 were spent in places like Lakeview Manor up in Beaverton and down in Oshawa and Whitby. They also, on the Greater Horseshoe Food and Farming Alliance, I've had the opportunity to go to Niagara region, to Niagara College, and learn about the winemaking and the ice wine where they pick the frozen grapes right off there, and went through the food and beverage courses that they offer. At Durham region here in Whitby, on Champaign Avenue, they have Bistro 67, wonderful restaurant. It's on the on Durham campus, and they grow their own vegetables and everything for the restaurant that's there. So there's a lot of good things that are happening out in the different communities, and it's all to do with the farming and the processing, and they have maps now that you can go and look, and you can use your little gadget here, and it's called asset mapping, and you can pick out all the farms all the way across Ontario now, and you can see whether it's beef, whether it's dairy. You can pick up all this information, so it's a great group to work with.
Thank you, Councillor Ballinger. Councillor Ballinger made a motion. Could I have someone second that, please? Councillor Bryan. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Correspondence 57, Region of Durham, RE Region's Broadband Strategy Phase 1 Report.
Councillor Barton?
Yeah, I'll make a comment to start out with.
Sure.
You know, here it's got our current up to 2022 for residential of 50 megabits per second download and 10 megabits per second upload. And Pat, in your ward and mine, you know, most of our residents are 3 megabits per second download and maybe 0.5 upload. So we're a long way from where we need to be in the region to support our residents. So there's a lot we need to do.
Actually, I was under the impression at one point in time we were supposed to sit on that committee, and we never did find out about any meetings. No one contacted us, but we'll have to get back at it. Anyway, so we have a motion by Councillor Barton to receive it.
Sure.
Seconded by Councillor Bryan. Did you have a question, Councillor Hack? Go ahead.
I did. Did we ever hear back on what happened with those applications for the spine internet? We never heard back on that? The ones that were gonna go up to Zephyr and Cross? The Connect
Oh,
access
yeah, I
one?
think, as I understand it, I think they've given out 2 contracts in Quebec. I don't think there's any in Ontario
There's
that
none
have
in
been given out.
Ontario? 'Cause
Maybe
that-
Dave knows, I don't know. Is
That
there any?
relates definitely to what we're talking about right here.
Yes. So we had Jennifer O'Connell, I asked her that specific question, and they haven't awarded the contracts yet. So there's been a couple native communities scattered throughout the country, and then the 2 in Quebec.
Yeah, that's
I
all.
mean, the sooner they could do that, the better, because it takes 5+ years to implement the program, right? Even after you have the funding, so I'm...
Keep in mind, it's
They keep
$500 million in the whole country. It won't go far.
right, so...
Yeah, they received, I think, 10 times as many applications as they had
Yeah,
money.
no, I understand that.
Now, they did put in $200 million for low orbiting satellites,
Yeah.
which might actually help our residents quicker than something else, so.
Yeah.
Certainly wireless is the way it's gonna have to go eventually.
Looks that way. So we have a motion by Councillor Barton to receive it. Any other, second, Councillor Hyatt? Great. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Correspondence 58, Township of Baldwin, RE Bill C-71, an act to amend certain acts and regulations in relation to firearms.
What would you like to do with this, council? Motion received by Councillor Hyatt, seconded by Councillor Barton. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Correspondence 59, Regional Municipality of Halton, RE request for support on the court application involving the CN truck rail development in the town of Milton.
I don't know a lot about this, actually. From what I read, there wasn't a lot of information, to tell you the truth, so I'm not really sure what they're asking. What would you like to do with this? Councillor Bryan does motion to receive, seconded by Councillor Barton. All those in favor? Carried.
Correspondence 60, Town of Ingersoll, RE demand the right landfill protest at Queen's Park on April 24th, 2018.
Councillor Barton, it's tomorrow, yeah.
I don't think any of us are heading down, although...
I don't think so.
So maybe let's call that receiving it?
All right. Somebody like to second that? Councillor Beach, all those in favor? Carried.
Correspondence 61, City of Pickering to Ralph Walton, Durham Region Clerk, RE Ontario Gaming GTA LP Revenue Sharing.
Councillor Ballard, would you like to speak to this, please?
I'd be glad to speak to it. It's called Durham Live. It's a new casino going into Pickering. What's happening, it's been a little bit of a war between Ajax Downs and the new one in Pickering. But Pickering have going to give something back to Durham Region. And that something is that 2% of their revenue would go to the quarter horse racing. Guarantee to take all the workers from Ajax Downs, plus bring in a lot more. And then guarantee to give the region so much money, and part of that money will be used for social housing, geared to income. So where we are now at Ajax, we get next to nothing. With the new one going into Pickering, they're going to share it with Durham Region.
Thank you. Councillor Bryan?
I just wanted to echo those sentiments. I was at a breakfast last week with Mayor Ryan and Mayor Parrish, and this came up, and they had a discussion going back and forth on where this money was going to go. And certainly Mayor Ryan of Pickering was very adamant that he wanted to share it, and one of the issues was social housing.
Yes.
He said he wants to give 30% of that back, and I think that's something that needs to be done, because a lot of the times we need to certainly take care of people who need a hand up, and I think Mayor Ryan gets that, and I think that with this Durham Live, with Bayher Housing, with Red Crest Homes, all these companies that are coming in, this is what we need to do, so I think this is fantastic. So I would certainly support this.
So we have a motion by Councillor Ballinger to
And I would-
receive,
I would
seconded
absolutely
by
second.
Councillor
Absolutely.
Bryan. All's in question, Councillor Hyatt.
Question, that's a great idea. Where's the other 70% going? That's a modified question, I guess.
You know, and I appreciate that. A lot of that is, when they're talking about money, we're talking
Yeah.
about hundreds of millions of dollars, really is what it's gonna be, because it's gonna be different revenue. So there's gonna be different tax streams that are coming through there, but I think instead of focusing on the 70, I think we need to focus on the 30 and where that 30 is gonna go. Because that 30 for the social housing is gonna be fantastic. The other 70 is gonna be spent somewhere else, but right now I'm looking at it as 30% is gonna help that we didn't have before. So, you know, where their money is gonna go, I don't know. That wasn't brought up during this breakfast, but I think, and maybe perhaps Councillor Ballinger can answer that
So is the city of
better.
Pickering running this thing, or are they just hosting?
No,
Okay.
it's a gaming commission that's running it, Gordon, right off the top, the government's gonna take their share.
Probably 50.
So I guess what's in it for Pickering if they're
Well, it'll
It-
bring a lot of people there, and they will, like in Ajax Downs, they get, $7 million a year for Ajax alone. On Pickering's share of it, I don't know what they've negotiated, but in Ajax, Mayor Parrish negotiated a certain percentage of each slot machine. So I'm not sure what Pickering have negotiated.
Okay.
It's gonna be at the corner, it's on Bailey, just east of Brock.
Yeah,
So it's
I
gonna
know
be a
where-
large community,
I
so
know
there's
where
gonna
they're
be a lot of
planning to put
jobs
it.
and things that come to Pickering. So I think it's gonna be
It's-
beneficial, and I like the fact that rather than keeping it all me, they're gonna share some of that. So I'm okay with 30%.
And on your question, Councillor
They
Hyatt.
can send some north of Highway 7 if they
Yeah,
they
I
need.
will,
They
you know what,
didn't-
I'm
they
gonna
didn't
ask
say
him
that.
about that. Good question, I'll ask him.
Again, back and forth, we're like a ping pong thing here.
Yeah,
Because this is one of the conversations I said with Mayor Ryan. We were sitting there, and I said, you know what, don't forget where we are. And we always have that conversation. I see him quite a bit, as Jack
Yeah.
does, and he knows exactly where we are. And
Yeah.
certainly now we have a regional chair who is very cognizant of north of 7. So that is not gonna fall by the wayside.
I mean, I know they can do good things with some of the money they get out of the,
Yeah.
you know, lotteries, and
Yeah,
the unfortunate part about gaming is it tends to attract people who can least afford it. It's like the
there's
payday loan places, they always pop up in sort of low income.
lower income, lower socioeconomic
People
issues,
who don't
but
really have a cash flow, so they're borrowing, and unfortunately gaming tends to lean that way. I'm not saying it's solely that, but,
you know, there's a certain truth factor in that, Gord,
it's-
but I think at the end of the
it's a
day, let's
slippery
look at the positives. Let's look at what this is going to do, because again, it comes back to 30% of money that wasn't gonna help social housing
yeah.
is now gonna help social housing. So I am okay with that 30% going.
Well, it
to
spawns
social-
good things, as we know, like OT. and
Absolutely it does.
things like
You know,
that.
we have the Trillium grants because of
But
these
it's-
sorts of
you ha-
things.
they
And
have
you know
to
what?
be careful.
We can pick apart things 100%, but I like what they've done, I like what Pickering is doing, and I like the fact that Pickering took that, leadership role and championed that to make that move forward. So
Just-
I am okay with that.
Just a quick question. I don't know if it could be answered. Is there an agreement with Pickering, and is there a timeline on the agreement? Does anybody know? Councillor Ballinger, maybe?
No, what has happened right now, Mayor Parrish is saying there's room for both casinos now. He didn't have that attitude before. But he says there's room for, both of them. The biggest concern on all of it is what happens to the quarter horse racing. It's the only racetrack they have for that is in Ajax. And these people have guaranteed 2% of the money going to help Ajax for their quarter horse racing. And it really affects us because I was down there to a meeting, I think Pam, Dave were down there, how much money is spent and how it just snowballs from the farmers and the trainers and the people that are in the blacksmith shops and everything, so.
It is
Yeah.
an industry, that's for sure, yeah. Okay, so we have, a motion received by Councillor Ballinger, seconded by Councillor Bryan. Are there any other questions? All those in favor? Carried. All those in favor? Carried.
Correspondence number 63, Councillor Pam Beach, on behalf of Ann Irvin. Pearls and Lace Craft Show. RE requests to use the Goodwood Community Center, including insurance, to host the Pearls and Lace Craft Show on November 3rd, 2018 at no charge. Sorry, my apologies, everybody. So number 62, City of Pickering, to Don Matheson, Chair, MPAC. RE, inflated municipal property assessments.
Councillor Hyatt.
Maybe we should have skipped over this one, since, I mean, I'm not sure what they're asking for here. If
Well.
they're talking about freezing the value of property, that's just not gonna happen.
No.
So, again, it's a little obscure here, what they're asking for. Urges the province to review the unfairness of the current, well, what are you gonna base it on? It's based on market value assessment. Not that I agree with it, but there is no really alternative unless you cap it, which is what the problem was when they brought that in, is that you had properties capped in 1940s, and they never appreciated, and then all of a sudden, boom, you know, the real estate market went through the roof, and all of a sudden now everybody's taxes has jumped phenomenally. So I'm not clear on what they're asking for here.
And their question is really that
Like,
they want
a
to stop
freeze-
all the impact
yeah.
assessment, but the reality is if all the assessment
freeze-
goes up the
yeah.
same, it has no impact on the tax rate.
Freeze or a
so
moratorium is not the solution.
I'm not really sure what they're
Yeah.
after either. What would you like to do with this?
You gotta dig down. I would receive it.
Councillor Barton?
Yeah.
Motion received?
Yeah.
Councillor Ballinger?
Well, I just wanted to mention, it came from Pickering,
Yeah, well, it's,
and Pickering is assessed the highest there is in Durham region.
sorry, so I have a mover and a seconder? Did you get a seconder, Debbie? Barton and Ballinger? No other questions? All those in favor? Carried.
Now, correspondence
Right on.
number 63. Councillor Pam Beach on behalf of Ann Irvin, Pearls and Lace Craft Show. RE requests to use the Goodwood Community Center, including insurance, to host the Pearls and Lace Craft Show on November 3rd, 2018 at no charge.
Would you like to do it? Pam? Go ahead.
They've been donating to the Foster, and I think this is really worthwhile. They have a good turnout usually at this craft show, and the money that they make, it goes to the Foster, so it's a win-win for the township, and I think we should support it.
I have, I've been told that we can't waive insurance.
Okay, that's okay then.
So without the insurance, you can put it through?
Yeah,
You
'cause
can pay
they-
the insurance if you choose to pay it.
Well, yeah, if we choose to pay the insurance on their behalf, but we can't obviously we can't waive it. There needs to be insurance on it, so someone has to pay the insurance. Councillor Ballinger?
Chair, what is, if they bought insurance through us, is that what you're saying, Ingrid? How much would it be?
Well, I don't know what it would be, but what we would do is we would buy the insurance for the event. I think that's what the committee is asking
Yes.
for.
Okay.
I'm not, but that makes me ask a question then, does the committee not have insurance?
Yeah, that's where, okay.
I'm not
that
sure what the
was
amount
all-
would be. There's no alcohol at the event. Is there alcohol at the event?
No, no.
Okay. It wouldn't be very much, the insurance then. It
I
can't
don't
be
think
that.
it would be.
Okay, without alcohol.
See if the committee has insurance. If they don't have insurance, it's probably not.
Okay, so how are we gonna deal with this? We wanna approve it somehow. Oh, it's in November.
So why don't we send it back and have them
Do you wanna
come
send it
back
back?
with insurance?
You know,
We
probably
could-
the easiest thing to do is to approve it and to approve the, approve
Contingent on
buying
that.
the insurance if the committee doesn't have insurance.
Okay,
So we'll leave it that, the first thing is we'll
Pam
ask
wants to
them
make
to
that
make
motion,
sure
I'll
they do.
second that.
That's okay, Pam?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Aloha.
Second by Councillor Bryan. Are there any other questions? Councillor Hyatt, go ahead.
Just a question, I guess, through you to Pam.
Yes.
Is the, let me get this straight, the Pearls and Lace Committee the same? No. Okay, I'm not clear on how they're raising money through the Goodwood Hall Association to go to the Foster. Who's directing the funds here?
The show, their money used to go to the Goodwood Hall,
Right.
but then things changed, almost 4 years ago,
So
and
the
they
the Pearls group money went to the Goodwood?
Yes.
Okay.
But now they have chosen for
go
the
to the
proceeds
Foster.
to go to the Foster.
So is it the Foster building or the Foster committee? Or is there a difference? You know what I mean?
It's just supposed to go to the Foster
So
as far as,
directly to a
that was
reserve
my
or something?
understanding.
As I recall, the way this started was it used to be endorsed by the Goodwood Community Association, and that's why they covered the insurance,
That's-
because they were
Okay.
a committee of council. And as I understand it, I believe the money goes to the Foster Committee. I don't,
Foster committee.
Yeah.
Can you answer
If
that?
you read the correspondence, it basically says in the third line from the bottom, that the board agree, and then as the money's raised, will
It says
go to the township
township.
for the Foster.
Yes.
So the event is called the Pearls and Lace. the money will come to the township for us to
Okay.
put for the fosters.
Yes.
That's what I
That-
needed to be clear on.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So the Goodwood Community Association doesn't, you have nothing to do with this now?
Other than the community association endorses it as far
Yeah.
as,
Okay, okay. Okay, so we've got a motion from Councillor Beach. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bryan. Made it, seconder. Are there any other questions? All's in favor? Carried. What? You should have your own meeting. Okay, we'll go to, committee meetings, minutes. Would somebody like to move those, please, from, April 16th? Councillor Barton, seconded by Councillor Bryan. All's in favor? Carried. We go on to reports to council. Report CAO 0618 of Ingers Fellness. This is regarding Affordable and Senior Housing Task Force. Councillor Hyatt and Councillor Bryan, and
Yeah,
Councillor Barton.
Just before I move the recommendation through to Ingrid, what time frame are we looking at for this? Like ASAP or
You mean for the committee?
for the committee? Yeah.
As soon as we can.
As soon as we can?
convene. Mhm.
Okay, I'll move the recommendation.
Do we have to do any appointments to it at this point in time with the recommendation?
If you're supporting the recommendation,
It'll-
you'd be supporting those people.
There's
The
a
only
list.
question is, do you want an additional counselor?
Yeah.
And that will be up to
We've
council
got
to decide.
3, right? 1, 2. Could have another one if you want.
Just,
3. Sure.
Councillor Ballinger?
I wouldn't mind sitting on that because I sat on it at the region for 6 months.
Great. So we'll include 3 councillors, Councillor Ballinger being the third. Friendly amendment. Would someone like to second that, please? Councillor Bryan, all those in favor? Carried. Did you have a question, Dave, or were you just voting?
No, just because I work a little bit in that space, I was gonna offer my services, but Jack's a perfect fit as well, so
Okay, great, okay.
I support him.
Report PB 0118, Pam Beach. This is, tourism, heritage, and community events. Councillor Beach?
I'm just asking, as I've done in the past, to have the, community hall for the Farmers of Uxbridge, and I've also got, support now, from the region of Durham, the Economic Development, and the OFA for the Ag Trailer at no charge.
Great.
So, again, it's important to highlight our farmers, show what they're producing, whether it's for animals, for people, just to get more people to come in and realize what's going on in their community.
Thank you. So you're moving, the report, obviously, with Councillor Barton?
Yeah, I have a suggestion, Pam. We didn't speak before this, but, hopefully our downtown will be closed during this event, certainly Lower Brock. This might be a fun year to move this event to Lower Brock. We close off the street, bring animals in. Just a thought. It's your event, so I'm just making a
Yeah, no,
suggestion.
the thing is, if it rains, then I've got a big problem, because these vendors will not come out and display a lot of stuff if it rains. That's, the safety net is having it in the Arena Hall. I like your idea, and if you could arrange for no rain, because the last 3 years, we've had rain, and it saved our bacon to have it in the
I know
hall.
there's so many.
Yeah, I struggle to make guarantees with that.
Yeah.
Councillor
I
Beach.
don't know why.
I have less pull these days than I used to. Hear more, I don't know why.
So, no, it's a great idea, but for that fact alone, a lot of the farmers would not even show up.
That's something you can talk about outside of council, if you can get anything out of it. We don't know. We have a lot of questions on the construction zone, but anyway, deal with it. You guys can work that out. So did you second that, Councillor Barton? Great, thank you. Any other questions? All's in favor? Carried. On the addendum, there are 2 reports. The first one is report CL 2418 of Debbie LaRue. This is regarding declaring the office of the mayor vacant. Moved by Councillor Ballinger, seconded by Councillor Barton. Are there any questions? All's in favor? Carried. The second report on the addendum is report CL 2518, also of Debbie LaRue. This is filling the vacancy for the office of mayor, head of council. I think there's a couple questions here we have to deal with. One of them is there's a number of ways, and I guess the way we should start it is maybe someone would like to make a motion. The two questions are, do you replace the mayor from within council or without? So we need a motion one way or the other. Councillor Ballinger.
I will give you a motion to replace it from within our own council.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Bryan? All those in favor? Carried. Okay. The only question we have left then will be the determination of the time when we will do the voting for that. Debbie has down here, our next meeting is May the 14th, or our option is to have a special council meeting between now and then. What would you like to do with that? Councillor Bryan.
I know that Councillor Hyde had some concerns on that.
Oh, sorry.
We had talked last night, so I was just looking at you, wasn't putting you on the spot, but... Do you have any concerns or no? I would rather, I think it's one of the things we want to move sooner rather than later. So I guess it depends. Whenever we get the date, that's fine. You certainly want to be transparent. We certainly want to have those motions, so perhaps Debbie could let us know what are some dates as she reaches for her calendar.
Can we leave it like that, Debbie, that you'll see if you can get a special meeting
And if not, we do it the 14th. It's not the end of the world by any stretch.
Is that okay to do it that way? Boy, you got a bad mic.
Through you, Mr. Chair, it's completely up to committee. If they want to strike a special council, then we could have some dates today, that we could look at. It's completely up to...
Okay, can you work on a few dates? We'll go to Councillor Barton for a minute here. Councillor Barton?
Yeah, I just don't know what the rush is. We have 60 days to do this, to have a special meeting and bring the press and all of us in. I just don't know what the rush is. We have 60 days.
I would comment that we have a $25 million business that we're running, and I think we have to get on top of it and get our act together. I really don't see why we should wait any further. We've declared the seat vacant. Let's go. Let's get our business going. We have a lot to do. Councillor Ballinger?
No, in my own head, I had it as May the 14th.
And I'm fine with May the 14th. I certainly don't want to wait 60 days.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, if May the
That
14th
gives
is the
Debbie
day, that's
lots
great.
of time, and...
I was saying May 14th.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure. That's what I said, like...
I just didn't think we needed to meet tomorrow morning.
No, not at all. With May
That was-
14th, if that works.
was the intent.
Yeah.
If everybody's good with that, I'm good with that.
Councillor Hyatt?
Just, I think I asked this question when this came up, when we received Gary Lim's letter. Debbie, is there something in there that prevents us from continuing business while this thing drags on? Like, I know that the mayor is CEO as well as being the mayor. Are there any roadblocks here, or is it just a matter of filling the position eventually? Like, are things being held up, I guess is what I'm asking.
There's nothing that prohibits business from continuing on.
Right.
Councillor Malloy is acting in the position as deputy.
Right.
From a legal standpoint, I mean, the sooner we can get everything done, the better.
Yeah.
Strictly from a selfish perspective, the more this is pushed out, depending on what happens now that you're selecting from amongst yourselves, obviously there's going to be another vacancy that I'm going to have to deal with. The closer this pushes me to the election, the closer this pushes me to dealing with the animal shelter bill. So, you know, from staff's perspective, we're tight already. The further this gets pushed out, then the vacancy has to be dealt with, it has to be declared vacant, and then council from there has to decide what they're going to do with that vacancy. So it's kind of a domino effect here. So, I mean, again, it's council's choice. If you want to wait till the 14th, we wait till the 14th. But then, again, then you're pushing out your another 2, 3, 4 weeks dealing with the other vacancy.
But the corporation doesn't come to a grinding halt without having...
No, but
there
there are a few issues. One of them, and I thought about it last weekend, was in the ice storm. For example, on our emergency planning committee, the mayor has a position, the deputy mayor has a position. There are two specific positions on that committee, and they have certain challenges and certain jobs that they have to do in that committee. So all of these things leave blanks, and that was a concern. In our ice storm last week, thank goodness nothing happened. It didn't become serious, so we're okay. I just think the sooner the better. Let's get our business in shape. Councillor Bryan, then Councillor Barton.
I think that, you know, Deb has made some very, very good points. I think the biggest concern is we have to look at what is in the best interest of the township.
Absolutely.
You know, what's going to make our citizens better, what is best for everybody. And if that is best served by having a vote on the 14th, terrific. If that is best served by having it on the 7th, that's fine too. I think we don't want to drag things out longer, Councillor Hyatt. I think that we want to make sure that it's going to be the right decision and what's best for the council, and certainly what's best for the township, because at the end of the day, we're all responsible to the citizens of the township and our electorate. So if that works, and I know Deb is gonna be overwhelmed, and I think that if this wasn't, an election year, we'd have different stories.
For sure.
We'd have a different dynamic, but I think right now with this issue, I don't think we can drag it out. You know what, we look back, and unfortunately, when Councillor McHugh's passed away, we had a different dynamic because we weren't coming into an election. But with this one, I think the timing is not, optimum, but I think that that's something we should really look at.
Councillor Barton, did you have a question? Councillor Ballinger?
Yeah, I would leave it to the discretion of the clerk. The reason I said the 14th is because the week before that, for selfish or unselfish reasons, I'm in Niagara region for the Durham. On May the 7th, I'm in Niagara region.
So I think we all
And
need to be here for that.
Well, we do all have to be here,
Yeah.
no question. Kim, could we leave it that Debbie could attempt to put a special meeting together, and if she can't, the default will be the 14th of May? Can we leave it at that?
I'm okay to leave it to the discretion of the clerk.
Okay. But I think she's looking for an answer from us.
Well, probably the easiest would be to call special council the day of the 7th, but
Jackson
if Councillor
here, so that's
Ballinger
a-
isn't here, then, ideally it's best if all members are here.
They have to be.
I can come back. If it's...
How about we leave it that Debbie try to put
Yep.
one together, and if she can, great. If she can't, we'll wait till the 14th. Question? Did you have a question, Councillor Hyde?
I'm just using the kind of model that the region took when our mayor became regional chair. They had it in the normal course of their agenda. There was no special meeting that I'm aware of. Maybe I missed it. You know, it gives people time to get their head around it, whether they're members of council, and I agree with your comments, Councillor, that we want to do what's best for the municipality. I think by perceiving that we're rushing something, even though we may not be, I think we want to keep it sort of status quo, if you get my drift. It's more perceptual rather probably than actual, but I think if we're representing our constituents, I think we have to be very transparent, very open. This is the process, this is how it's going to unfold. You know, we're not perceived as pulling any fast ones or fast-tracking this for whatever reason. So I think to leave it as is for the 14th makes a lot of sense. I've asked the clerk if there's a valid reason that we would need to do it prior to that, and she's saying no. So if you're asking me, I would just let the natural course of events run, and we do it on the 14th.
I would keep in mind, if it was a normal month, we would have been doing it next week. It's just
In
it's a
other words, if
5-week
we
it's a
needed a-
5-week month, that's why we're waiting an
If the
extra
clerk
week.
was to tell me, well, we need someone in the CEO's position, like ASAP, then obviously we'd be looking at creating another meeting, but
Councillor Bryan?
I'm not seeing the need for it.
I think that what I'm hearing from other people is that the 14th seems to be the day that works, and that's fine. I think that we need, again, it comes back to doing what's right for the township, and doing what's best for everyone. So if that's the date is the 14th, then maybe we don't have Deb look for something earlier. She looks stressed already, so I don't really want to look at her in the eye. So I think that the 14th might be good, so maybe we just wait till the 14th?
It's a night meeting too.
Is it?
Oh, that's after the golf tournament, is that
That's
right?
right. That's right. It's a
Okay.
night meeting, so people can come out.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, I'm good with that.
Okay, so the motion is, it will be at a special council meeting on May the 14th. Was there anything else in that report we had to determine? What's the last one? Schedule A.
I'll give you the
Councilor
motion
Ballinger?
for, and it's not a special council, just our regular council meeting that's been moved from the morning to the night.
Seconded by Councillor Bryan. All those in favor? Carried. Debbie, I'm sorry, how do we deal with Schedule A? Or we're done? Oh, so we have to have a separate motion to approve Schedule A? Okay, make a motion. Councillor Bryan made the motion to approve Schedule A. Seconder, please. Councillor Barton. All those in favor?
Through you to Debbie, that last little bit, and I know it's maybe talking about ties or whatever, what's the last situation? In other words, if you had 3 and 3, it becomes apparent, let me just get to it here.
then it's by,
Is it by
flippable
draw
coin.
out of a hat? Is that what that means? Okay, just to be clear, thank you.
So, yeah, if we got to the point where still nothing was determined, then it would become a draw, by lot. Yes.
Great, so we have a motion, duly seconded, right? All's in favor? Carried. Bylaws.
I've
Who
got
has the bylaws? You have the bylaws, Dave?
Yep. Okay, bylaws requiring 3 readings. First and second reading, moved by Councillor Dave Barton, seconded by Councillor Jack Ballinger. Leave be granted to introduce bylaws number 2018-046 to 2018-059, and the same be read a first and second time.
Leave be granted, third reading.
Oh, but we didn't vote.
Oh, sorry, all in favor? Carried. Leave be granted, third reading.
Yep, third reading, moved by Councillor Dave Barton, seconded by Councillor Jack Ballinger, that bylaws number 2018-046 to 2018-059 now be read a third time, finally passed, and the mayor and clerk duly sign and seal same.
All's in favor? Carried. Unfinished business, is there any? Councillor
Oh,
Barton?
no, sorry, I've got other business.
Okay.
You
Debbie?
ready for other business? Oh,
Debbie?
Through Mr. Chair, so, the meeting at the committee meeting last week, council, Durham Region Labor Council, there was a motion came forward about the day of mourning
Right.
for, employees killed, or injured on the workplace. And it was, a motion of council that they just lower the flag at the fire hall and the public works.
That's correct.
So I just wanted to bring forward that we actually have, this is part of our flag policy, and specifically, it does say in here that all flags will be flown at half-mast at township properties in accordance with the guiding principles of the Canadian National Flag Protocol through the following specific conditions, and one is with respect to, the April the 28th Workers' Mourning Day. So, if I could have a motion to reconsider that, and we just adhere to our policy.
I think the motion was, everybody was in favor. I don't think anybody voted against it, so can we just do a two-third, how do you want to do this then? Anybody can move it then? Okay, so Dave, you want to move it?
yeah, so I'll make a motion to follow our flag policy for that, item.
Okay. Seconded by? Seconded by Councillor Beach? Oh, you weren't here. That's right. Councillor Bryan. All's in favor? Carried. Good catch, good catch. Is there any other unfinished business? That's coming up after, that's other business, okay. Okay, then other business.
Just nothing, it's 0-0 after 1, in case anybody cares.
Great, thank you.
Just got a text.
Great. Councillor Barton.
Yeah, I've got a couple other businesses. One is, Derek Connolly wants to do a hike with North Durham Nature to listen to the frogs, a certain type of frog at night from the Countryside Preserve, just the way our meetings work.
They're out.
We have to give permission for that. So typically, there's no night use at the Countryside Preserve.
Really?
So because he wants to do a night hike, it goes from 7:30 till 9:30. We have to approve it.
Okay, you're making that motion?
I'll make a motion that we allow it.
Seconded by Councillor Beach, all those in favor? Carried.
No, that might be someone else. And then
Other business, go ahead.
the other business. So there's a grade 8 student named Lauren Koolhaas who wants to do a textile drive. She's working with Chances Are, and it's for textiles so they don't go to landfill. So she's working with them to take the stuff that they can't sell, as well as a drive in her school. So what she would like us to allow her to do, just like we did the toy drive, would be to use the fire hall to keep the textiles in. It's perfect because it's close to Chances Are, so they can move the textiles there.
For how long for, Dave?
Oh, for 3 weeks in May. We can have her come in and do a deputation, but just so she can plan accordingly, we could kind of approve it and then have her come in.
Yeah, we're gonna can we, there's a couple people that want to use that fire hall at the same time.
Oh, refer to staff? Okay.
Can you? Because there's
Sure.
a few people I know on the list that are thinking about using it, so we'll
Yep.
try to sort that out.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, so we'll refer that to staff. Do I need a motion for that? Moved by Councillor Barton, seconded by Councillor Ballinger. All's in favor? Carried. Anything, that's it, you're done?
Yep, that's
Dave?
it.
Okay, other business, anything else? Okay, on other business, we're rescheduling the meeting for May the 14th to an evening meeting. This was tabled, so I'd like to have somebody lift from the table, please. Councillor Ballinger, Councillor Bryan. Now the motion. This is the motion to move the meeting to, from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Moved by Councillor Bryan, seconded by Councillor Barton. All's in favor? Carried. Thank you. This is donation, this is a donation for the, big bike ride on May the 10th. It's a Wednesday. What are we gonna do? I don't know what we gave last year. Does anybody remember? Anybody know?
I would suggest we refer that to the golf, I can't make that motion, but I would suggest we refer that to the golf committee.
Okay, Councillor Barton and Councillor Ballinger refer to the, golf committee. All's in favor? Carried.
It's a Thursday, not a Wednesday, May 10th.
Is it a Thursday? Good. Okay, I can make the bike ride.
Okay, good, okay. Okay, the, item C is the appointment of a representative to the Central Lake Ontario Conservation for CLOCA. Currently, the regional chair O'Connor sits on that, representing Uxbridge. We have a couple options. Have you already talked about this, Jack? Go ahead. We have a couple options, go ahead.
I would, nominate it, our rookie here, Mr. Dave Barton, to go down there. I think it'd be good for him. He looks after, sustainability, and that'd be a good exercise for him.
Okay. Seconded by? Councillor Hyatt?
Although I think Dave would be a good choice, did we not defer this to Scugog to send there?
It's an option that we do have to defer to Scugog, because it takes a little bit of our property. We were gonna get a letter from Mayor O'Connor, actually, who wanted to sit on it, but I don't think we've received that yet,
So we didn't do that, in other words?
No, we haven't done that yet, no.
Okay.
It's it's one of the options that we have, but we haven't done it.
Okay, no, I thought we did. Okay, I'm okay with
The Clopid area for Uxbridge is so exceptionally small
Yeah.
that it's very unusual that Scugog and Uxbridge both have a rep on it. Mayor O'Connor wanted to sit on CLOCA along with Tom Rowett because CLOCA was going through some changes, and that's why she did. But normally, one representative represents both Scugog and Uxbridge. That's the normal course for as long as I can remember.
So would
But
Dave-
currently we have two,
Mayor Rowett is still attending,
there?
so that if you're asking him just to assume the responsibilities for Uxbridge, that's another option that you have, is just say, if you could, make a motion and ask him to represent both.
But the motion we have is to appoint, Councillor Barton.
I'm
Okay.
okay with it. I just...
Councillor Hyatt? Actually, you can't. Actually, you can't because you actually get paid for that job. Okay? No, that's fine. So just so you can note that, Councillor Barton has recused himself from this vote due to a conflict. Okay, all's in favor? Carried. Alrighty. So you'll have to jump in and get that scheduled, Dave, okay? I don't remember what nights they meet. I think it's a Wednesday, as I recall.
right around dinner time.
Yeah, Wednesday at 6 o'clock or something like that. Anyway, okay. Should we have told you that before? Maybe we should have told you before you accepted. Okay, confirming bylaw. We're done, right?
All right, confirming bylaw.
Oh, hang on one sec, Dave, sorry. The one other little thing under other business is, Catalina, just a little thing from Catalina. She's got a little report to do. Go ahead, Catalina. Great event.
Just to let everybody know, on Wednesday, Ingrid and I will be going to give a presentation on local government to all the grade 10 civic classes at Uxbridge Secondary School. So we're both really excited to do that and teach young people to be engaged in local government.
Awesome.
All day, we're there all day. We have 4
day.
classes.
Yeah, you're gonna love the
Fantastic.
cafeteria, the food there is awesome.
Fantastic.
It really is. I don't know.
Food tea.
No, but their bakery and everything is incredible.
Yeah.
All right,
Students too, yeah.
so are we ready for the
Yeah,
confirming
but
bylaw?
confirming bylaw, please.
Okay, confirming bylaw, first and second reading, moved by Councillor Dave Barton, seconded by Councillor Jack Ballinger, that leave be granted to introduce bylaw number 2018-060 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its regular meeting of April 23rd, 2018, and the same be read a first and second time.
All in favor?
Third
What?
reading.
Third reading, go ahead.
Yep.
Lee be grand, third reading.
Moved by Councillor Barton, seconded by Councillor Ballinger, that bylaw number 2018-060 now be read a third time, finally passed, and the mayor and clerk duly sign and seal same.
All's in favor? Carried. Questions from the press? Mr. Varley?
Yes. Mayor?
Deputy
Councillor?
Mayor.
Deputy Mayor. First of all, Councillor, I'd like to ask a question about Ms. Fellness's report on affordable housing. On page 114 of the agenda, at the bottom of that page, Ms. Fellness says that the province has a new land use planning tool that allows municipalities to require affordable units to be included in residential developments. When council was discussing a few weeks back this proposed development next to Wooden Sticks, the mayor was quite vocal about she would have preferred bungalows in there. Does this mean now that council can say we want bungalows, and that's and the developer either has to comply or go away?
Go ahead, Ingrid.
Okay, I think what the province is doing is the province is saying that there are tools in place that will allow municipalities to do it, but there are a number of things that we have to do in order to be able to have that happen. One is that we have to do a comprehensive review, I think, of our current housing situation. And then secondly, we are going to have to amend our official plan and our zoning bylaws in order to make that happen. We just can't, at this point, order a developer to build affordable housing. But what the province is now saying is we're going to provide municipalities with tools, but there's a process that we need to go through in order to be able to have those tools at our disposal to make that happen.
We also,
Go ahead.
Ms. Fellness, we also have this proposed townhouse development at Harriman Boulevard there. Will either of these projects go ahead and start construction before you guys have these tools at hand?
Go ahead, Ingrid.
There's a real possibility that they will, because the one thing that can happen is when you're amending your official plan, your official plan can end up being appealed, and if it does get appealed, then that can certainly add a lot of time to it. Relatively new is whether or not there's going to be a provision that if an application is at a certain point, and both the Saleville development and the one up at the Gold-Manco property have been considered complete applications. So they've already gone through the public planning process, and the public report or the planning report will be coming back probably before June. It's highly, highly unlikely that those are going to be required to have affordable housing, because there's not going to be enough time to amend our official plan to capture this. That's at least how it looks right now. What do you think, Bart?
I agree. It depends on how far along they are in the process. In other words, if they're ready to go, and then we turn around and say, by the way, so, you know, they would be taking us to whatever the new form of the OMB is, whatever title they want to put to it.
Tribunal.
The local planning authority. And
Would be fun though, wouldn't it?
it would be, yeah. But I think if they're just starting, we would have a better chance.
Secondly, Councillor, on the process of filling Mayor O'Connor's seat, I just want some clarification here. Is there a council meeting on May the 7th?
No. Oh,
there-
committee. Committee.
Oh, committee, okay. Okay, you guys do. On May 14th, if I'm reading this right, you guys come back and you will appoint from within your ranks
That's correct.
somebody to be mayor.
That's correct.
Could you or Ms. LaRue describe to me what the process will be for that? Will it be secret ballots? Will
No.
it be secret written ballot? Show of hands? What? How are the nominations going to come about?
I understand it's she will be in the chair, and it'll be a it's in the report. what do you call it? A recorded vote.
So, if
Yeah.
you go, Roger, and look at my report, you'll see Schedule A, that outlines the process. And what will happen is basically right through that process. So it depends on how many nominations are put forward, that basically sets the tone for what's gonna happen.
Okay. And then whoever is appointed, that seat, that ward seat or the regional council seat will become vacant. When will that be addressed? The same night
No.
or later on?
Following.
The following,
Another process
the
starts
following
again.
council meeting?
Well, I'm not sure if it'll be the next meeting or not, but.
So in accordance with the Act, basically what you have to do when a seat becomes vacant, so we would declare at a following meeting that seat to be vacant. Then so basically you're receiving it at the next meeting. So from there, council would declare the seat vacant, and then we have to go through the process again to determine what they're going to do with that vacancy.
Thank you kindly.
Any other questions of the press?
Just a quick question, that
Sure.
report is located where?
I'm sorry?
The report that was just addressed, where is that located?
It's an addendum to our,
Addendum.
to our meeting. It's in the addendum.
Thank you.
You can get a copy of it when we're done here.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, Leach 2, Boston 1.
Way to go. Any other questions of the press? No? Anybody? No? Okay. Motion to adjourn. Great, 8:15, good. Good work.